The shir is dedicated to Libli Nishmas Rachel Leah Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. I wanted to discuss a little bit, just add on to something we mentioned in last year. The last year we discussed Einos Mitzvahs Chavilos, and we started discussing the need for multiple matzos. And I wanted to discuss a little bit the mitzvah of matzah, and in particular the idea of Lechem Oni. The Torah describes and calls the matzah Lechem Oni. And the Gemara says, really has different discussions. What exactly does that mean that the matzah is referred to as Lechem Oni? What exactly is the idea being expressed? And this is discussed in the Gemara Maseches Psachim and Daf Kuf Tes Vav Amud Beis. The Gemara writes on the bottom, Amar Shmuel Lechem Oni. It says Lechem Oni. Why does it mean? What does it mean Lechem Oni? The Gemara suggests approach number one, Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe. Lechem Oni means the lechem, the bread that we are owning. We say many things over the bread. Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe. What exactly does that mean? If you take a look at the Rabbeinu Hananel, so Rabbeinu Hananel explains, what does this mean? Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe Perish Omrim Olav Haggadah. We recite the Haggadah on the pas, on the matzah. What do we say? Matzah zu shanu ochlin. We point to the matzah. When we raise the matzah, we recite Matzah zu shanu ochlin. And at our Haggadahs, you'll know we reveal the matzos throughout the Magid, and we are essentially reciting the Magid on the matzah. What exactly is the idea? So the idea is, one idea is that, for example, we find that when we make Kiddush on a Friday night or on a Leil Shabbos, we go ahead and we recite words ala kos. It's a Seder Dvarim ala kos. We organize words that are recited ala kos. The kos lends a certain chashivus, a certain solemnity and formality to the recitation of the words. It's not mere reciting words, but we're reciting words in a context of the kos, which lends chashivus to the milim. So too when it comes to the Magid is recited al hapas, al matzah, because matzah being so central, perhaps that's the idea of Seder Dvarim al hapas, al matzah. That's one notion of Lechem Oni. Another idea of Lechem Oni, Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe, is, as we have discussed in the past here in Nala, is the Leil HaSeder. There are many props in the Leil HaSeder. We use different food items and other aspects to laharos, to help us get in the proper frame of mind, as if we ourselves left Mitzrayim. That's exactly what the charosis is. The charosis is a prop to facilitate our getting into the mindset of properly experiencing the charosis. We see charosis, zecher letit, zecher letapuach. It reminds us of things that were going on in Mitzrayim, the maror that we taste experientially, feeling the bitterness, the marirus. Bala mara lo yatsa. If you just swallow the mara, you're not yotzi. You have to experience the marirus. It is not sufficient just to tell over the story, but it has to be experiential. So by having these props, the matzah on the table, revealed, not just covered, waiting to be eaten, but revealed, reminds us of B'chipazon, that we left Mitzrayim. B'chipazon, we're taken out very quickly. We couldn't allow and wait for the bread to rise, and it puts us in the proper framework, hence the need for revealing. That's the din of Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe. The Gemara then says, Davar Achar, another reason that the matzah is referred to as Lechem Oni is as follows. Lechem Oni, it says, it's pronounced Oni, Milashon Onim, but the Ksiv is Ayin Nun Yud, Ani, Ani Ksiv. So since Ani Ksiv, Ma Ani Shedarko Beprusa, Afkan Beprusa, just like an Ani does not have whole loaves of bread, he's limited, he doesn't have much to go ahead and use, so too, we at the Leil HaSeder, Matchilim Bignus, we start lowly, and therefore there's also an idea of Madarko Shel Oni Beprusa. Here it's Lechem Oni, not Lechem Shel Olav Dvarim Harbe, but Lechem Oni. And Davar Acher, another idea that the Gemara expresses, Madarko Shel Oni Hu Masik V'Ishto Ofe, Afkan Nami Hu Masik V'Ishto Ofe. So when it comes to when it comes, another just concept is, in order to go ahead, the reason that an Oni, he doesn't buy bakery bread and he has to make sure very quickly that the bread that gets taken care of. So one person is is opening the oven, and the other is removing the bread quickly so it doesn't have the opportunity, putting it in the bread, it doesn't have the opportunity to be machmitz. Two basic reasons. That's something that's separate from the idea of Lechem Oni, but the two basic ideas in the Gemara for Lechem Oni, Lechem Sha'onim Olav Dvarim Harbe, and Lechem Oni Madarko Shel Oni Be Prusa. Now, if you look at some other Rishonim suggest slight nuances on the Rabbeinu Hanan as to what exactly the idea of Lechem Sha'onim Olav